All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live at the next installment of BS Busters. Um, this episode of BS Busters is not your typical episode. We're going to be talking about the elephant in the room, Splatoon, obviously. More people should be joining us as time goes on. I'm just going to talk a little bit about it because, it came out yesterday. And let's see, I guess I'll talk. We'll talk about, give you a few tips and tricks, talk about the game a little bit, and give our impressions, what we think about it. And then we'll segue, that'll segue into Daredevil. And then we'll do the free topic, answer whatever questions you guys might or might not have, and then we'll call it a day. All right. So, I guess I'll go first since I've been playing it not nonstop since yesterday, but off and on for like 2-3 hours at a time.
I envy you.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't play it straight. Like, I would play the multiplayer for like an hour till I leveled up, and then I would go and play the single player, because if I just play multiplayer, because sometimes in multiplayer I'm hot and I'm like scoring a lot of points, and then sometimes I'm getting my ass kicked for like 4 or 5 matches. So it kind of it's kind of a either or proposition sometimes. Today I won more than I lost, but sometimes I lose more than I win. But it's a fun game. Even when I'm losing, I'm not like mad about it. So I can't get mad. But I basically, my first impressions of this game is, I'll talk about graphics first, since everyone always wants to talk about graphics and aesthetics. Graphically, this game looks awesome. The ink looks wet. Like, literally, it looks like you can go in and touch this ink and splat it on a wall and leave your handprint. And I say this as someone who, when I was in AmeriCorps, like half of the shit we did in City Year was painting schools and elementary schools and junior high schools and high schools. And we'd have like family service day where like the young people would come in like with their kids and stuff. And I know paint, and this oh my god, the paint in Splatoon looks so lifelike. It is ridiculous how lifelike that paint looks. It's frightening. So graphically, the characters look awesome. The special characters look awesome. The uber powerful characters look awesome. Just everything looks awesome. I also like the fact that they have a dope dealer who lives in the back.
And I was just going to ask you about that dope dealer urchin. So the first time when you booted up the game, did you went straight to this urchin character?
No, I did not, because when you first open the game, you have that tutorial that you had in the test fire. But after you do the tutorial, it's like you're in Ecopolis. And I will say the second thing I visited was the dope dealer in the back alley. And like literally, he asked you if you're the cops. I'm like, this dude is totally a dope dealer. He's totally a dope dealer, and he sells illegal contraband in order to make you more powerful. And you can order like 1 bit a day. Plus, if you find a super snail, he can power up your. I mean, he can sell you performance enhancing items that can make your items more powerful. He is totally a dope dealer.
Because the reason why I ask you this because um, I can't remember which clip I saw this on, but it seems like um, if you reach to that person and you didn't do anything, no score, level up, or anything like that, he will basically tell you to kick off rocks. Because in his eyes, you're a beginning. You're too weak to even do business with him.
Well, since I don't know any real dope dealers, well, I mean, I know kids who would, sell a bag of weed here and there on the side, but they weren't like hardcore dope dealers. But like personally, but I knew kids who knew kids who were dope dealers, and I knew like a kid that you knew was a dope dealer, but you didn't hang around with. And that kid, I mean, this dude, totally a dope dealer, but that's okay. I'm not mad about it. So that leads to the next little bit of information in this game, which is the music. The music is pretty forgettable, I will admit. It's catchy. It's not really egregious, but it gets you. It does what it has to do. I will say this much. The music in the single player is better than the music in the multiplayer. But I mean, either way, it's not really all that. Oh my god. It's not like anything you're really going to be humming to yourself. It's not like Mario or something like that. The multiplayer. Oh my god. This is the 60 to 70% of this game is focused around the multiplayer, and the multiplayer is the shit. It is pretty damn good. For those people who said that they would really like voice chat and that this game needs it, I only have a few things to tell you, none of which are critical. Basically, I understand where you're coming from. This game would be even more fun than it already is with voice chat. No denying that. No denying that. I will admit that it would be more fun than it already is with voice chat. But conversely, I'm also glad that it's not there because, and I'll tell you why. There was a kid who kept on being on my team over and over and over again, and they were really good. They were like level 13, and I friended them because they were so good. I'm like, well, shoot. Once later on in a few months, when the full when the full multiplayer modes are rolled out, I'm gonna want this person to be on my team, and I found out that this person's like a 13-year-old girl. And some of the things I was saying to myself, if voice chat had been on, would be totally inappropriate to say to a 13-year-old girl, like ink, like sploosh, splat, how's that ink taste in your mouth? Yeah.
Oh boy.
Eat ink, bitch. You got splatted, mofo. Basically, I was saying some horrific things to myself as if I were on voice chat. So really, it's a pretty good thing that there isn't voice chat in this game, because if there was, they would ban me for some of the things I was saying. And especially when I friended a 13-year-old girl who was really good at the game. Like, I'm recruiting my team now of good players. I'm kind of, that kind of makes me a little upset. Just saying. I mean, I'm glad that Nintendo saved me from myself. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Nintendo. I know people were mad. Oh, I can't believe you didn't have this. I'm like, thank God, because I almost said some stuff that would have embarrassed me, and maybe even.
I guess when it comes to games, age doesn't matter.
No, well, the thing is like I'm playing it and I'm like I turned it on Friday because I have Fridays off. And I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm going to play this game. And I start playing Friday, and at first I can't get on, but it's not because of bad internet connection or the servers weren't working. It's because basically I have my Wii U and my Wii like right next to each other, or I had, and the Wii was interfering with the Wii U. Yes. Well, I guess they use such similar technology that they can interfere with each other. So I finally like I literally moved my Wii U on top of my TV on my big screen in the man cave, and boom, now I could play whatever the hell I wanted, and it connected. And then I started playing online. I started at level 1, then went up to 4 that first day, and then I kind of like played the single player a little bit. I was like, wow, this single player is kind of fun. And then, like, literally, I found that as I played the single player of the game, it made me better for the multiplayer. The single player, like, kind of like in the first few areas is kind of like a tutorial. But once you get farther in, you start learning advanced techniques and stuff, and it actually gets good, which I like. Let's see, what else? Let's see. I talked about strategy.
Ironically, you don't hear that about a single player campaign can make you better in multiplayer. I'm not hearing much people saying that, although maybe I really don't have that much for free time to scour around the entirety of the YouTube gaming community.
Now in Splatoon, the single player actually, because what happens is that you get to basically you learn how to use the gyroscope controls better.
Oh snap! I would love to tell you about this whole shenanigan about someone reading an article just because of the gyroscope that the Splatoon is going to fail, and yeah, that's going to be after the show.
Yeah. The gyroscope controls, I will tell you, they take a little bit getting used to, but once you get used to it, it feels so natural. It almost feels as good as the Wiimote and Nunchuck when you were playing Metroid Prime. Like, it really has that feel like this is really natural. My only caveat with the gyroscope is that it takes about, or it took me about a day to get used to the gyroscope controls. Between the single player and the multiplayer, it finally clicked for me after about a day of playing. Not a whole day, but like I played for 3 hours. Really? I played the single player and the multiplayer, and then after playing both of them, I was like, okay, I got it. It clicked for me.
Really?
Yeah.
That feels like the very first time I hold up an NES controller, and it took me about a few hours to click to it. Same thing with the whole Wiimote Nunchuck. Hey. But that's just me.
I'm just saying that's how I feel about the game. Now, let's see. Other multiplayer things. Here's an issue that people have with the game. You can only have like 2 different there's like 5 different stages, and they switch between 2 of them as the day goes on. I know some people are pissed about that. I'm just gonna tell you, I didn't find it worrisome, because basically it's a 3-minute match. And really, you want to become familiar with these places. You really want to get familiar with them. Some maps I love. Like I like Arakawa Mall. I like the Black Belly skate park. Walleye Warehouse I can kind of stand, but my God, I hate. And even the Seaport is pretty good, but there's one that like I haven't won on yet, and like every time I'm on there I get dominated because it's a very difficult for me to move around in that environment. Yeah, the multiplayer is I mean, it doesn't really bother me that they have like 2 levels at a time, because literally I'm playing it for maybe 2 or 3 hours a day, you know, on the weekend. When I have time, I might play 30 minutes here and there. I basically play until I level up, and then I go do something else, because I can't play it consistently over and over and over and over again. I don't have that type of time. But other than that, it's a pretty good game.
You know what? Interestingly enough,
Mhm.
I kind of have this this conundrum, because I'm going to start this crank call. Back in my day, when we play games, we play games that we got stuck with one level, and we just kept pushing through that one level, even if it takes a day or even a week to pass that.
Yeah, I mean, and like here's the thing. The nature of Splatoon makes it so that you really don't need like 25 maps to play this game. Really, if you have 12, 13, 14 maps and you're intimately familiar with like 10 of them, you'll do well in Splatoon, because basically you have to know the lay of the map. You have to know where you can get ink, where it's not really worth your time to get ink, which leads to my pet peeves about Splatoon. Some of the players. Okay, 2 things. You people who go on the multiplayer and just go around splatting people, and you never lay any ink down, go to hell. It's because of you. I remember one fight I had yesterday where I was working hard. I was painting. I was throwing ink everywhere, on the walls, from the windows to the wall. Okay, that's as far as I'm going, because if I go any further, it's going to get X-rated up in here. I was spraying ink everywhere, and like I get to the results screen, and they're like, "You lost," and like there's this one guy who just had 0 paint used. I'm like, this fucker, you know. And I saw him running around shooting people, but he never sprayed any paint. I'm like, you bastard. Those people can eat shit and die. Secondly, people who have chargers, i.e. the sniper rifles, I go out of my way to kill them, and I'll tell you how I do it. I go out of my way to kill those people in the multiplayer. Like, they're shooting at me, and I always try to have a route of escape, because it's easier to run away and then go circle around and shoot them, like hit them from another angle, than to get splatted and then waiting to come back after like 3 or 4 seconds. So basically what I like to do when someone is a sniper, calls themselves sniping, is that I paint an alternate route, and then I and then I kill them. Or my personal favorite is to set up is kind of like camping, but not really. I'll basically, if like one time I splatted like 3 guys in a very short amount of time. Then I laid down a little bit of ink and hid in it. And then when they came back, they didn't see me. So they came running out trying to get rid of my paint, and I popped up and killed them again. Yes, this game is fun.
I kind of noticed with a lot of videos that I've seen that there are some players that completely forget about the hall passes, and I'm like, wait a minute, everyone is forgetting about that slight hall pass there, because it's like every time when I see the game starts, or even halfway there, halfway in the battle, at least one of those passes, there was no freaking paint on it on either 2 teams. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I just think people like to complain. I think a lot of people just, I mean, and those people get on my nerves. The second thing that gets on my nerves are people who won't lay a path for other folk. Like they follow each other. It's like you're not doing any help if you're following the same path as someone else. Go and get someplace else so that if some shit jumps off, we have a route to get out of there. You know, because like I said, I don't like getting splatted. Like if someone comes at me, I'll run away and swim away and then double back around and kill their asses. Sometimes it works. Like I'd say 60 to 75% of the time it works. And then sometimes I'm the one who gets like surrounded. Like one time I was running from a dude and he had his friend go around me and I'm like, I got him, but then his friend got me with the splat roller from behind. And those people with splat rollers who get me from behind, fuck you people. Just want to say that. Fuck you people. Other than that, this game is fun as hell. And I look forward.
Time to bring up a better tactic.
I look forward to new modes and new maps and new weapons that'll drop. I plan on getting my level up to 10 either today or tomorrow after this cast because I got to go back to get splatted on Splatoon.
I gotta say, did you heard about the NES Zapper to be featured in Splatoon?
Yeah, they're gonna have the original Zapper and then the orange one that doesn't look like a gun because apparently people are pussies and are afraid of fake guns. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was the 85 and the 89 versions. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I for this game, I actually like the orange one better.
Actually, I'm going to get both of them because I like, if they're good weapons, then I'm going to use them. Because basically, I determine my weapon by how much damage it does. Does it fit my play style? And does the special attack, like once you paint so much territory, does it fit my play style? The barrier is fun. The shield is great. Because you can like hold it until like you're surrounded by some dudes and they're like, I got you. It's like, no, you don't. shields, and then kill them. I'm gonna find a good weapon that has the Kraken, where you can turn into a giant squid and just run over people. I'm gonna get that one too because I think you're invincible when you use that one.
You know what? Actually, the Kraken is much better than the shield because the Kraken nullifies the shield.
Apparently so. I haven't seen it in action yet, but yeah, the game is really freaking awesome. The multiplayer is great. The colors are great. The ink is great. I've had little to no lag whatsoever in this game, so I'm happy about that. What else? Is there anything else I can say about Splatoon before it's over? I am currently in the getting footage for my big Splatoon review, but obviously I will not be doing a full review of Splatoon until all the modes are out. So that's not going to happen for another few months. So while I will be dropping little videos of me playing Splatoon, and I might have me talking over it, I'm not going to talk about how awesome it is or what's going on or anything because, I mean, literally, I can't do it because there's so much shit going on in Splatoon that I just can't do. And they're adding new modes and stuff. So I guess the final thing is we're going to have to talk about the elephant in the room in Splatoon, which is, are you getting your money's worth with the content? Like the fact they're adding more stuff later on. What can I say? Well, in my opinion, I think that the game is worth the price, and I'll tell you why. Because it's fun. The game is high quality, and it's like literally you can spend an hour playing this game, and it feels like you spent 20, 30 minutes. And the last time I played a game that for me, the multiplayer in this game is more accessible than the multiplayer in Mario Kart because there's more customization, there's more action going on. So, yeah. It's totally worth it. And the fact that they're adding more stuff as like every month all the way up to August for free makes this game totally worth its purchase. Now, if they were charging you $40 for a season pass, I'd be pissed. But it's free, so I can't get mad. Before I go any further and we get into the next segment, unless Triple M has something he wants to add, don't forget the Q&A is open. You can ask questions. I will attempt to answer them or not. If I don't like your questions, I might not answer them. No, I'm joking. I will attempt to answer your questions.
Even the most idiotic ones, because we're going to make fun out of those. But yeah,
anyway, yeah.
I don't have much to say since I'm the one who's doing the spectating. But I'll say this: it's much more worth it than Destiny. I can tell you that. Because at least this one has a single player campaign.
Yeah, it does have a single player campaign, and the single player campaign is actually pretty damn good. So I can't get mad. So
ending my side, I'll just go and do this. And get up to the moon and get up to the sun. Splatoon.
Speaking of Splatoon, I can't tell you how many people I ran around in the plaza saying, I'm a squid now, I'm a kid now, I'm a squid, I'm a kid, I'm a squid. I'm like, oh my god!
Someone, wait. You mean the thing, the one thing that that we constantly hear people complain about is now a freaking meme.
In this game, it is.
It's quite a meme that is actually quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I did a thing. I was like,
enjoy.
I did a thing with like, okay, this game is awesome. Join me in getting splatted. Hashtag I got splatted. And I got like one, yeah. But you see a lot of, I'm a kid now, I'm a squid now. I'm like, what the fudge? But it's time to move on to the next segment, which is, we're going to, Splatoon is awesome. If you want to play a new and innovative IP from Nintendo that is fun as hell, yes, it does not have voice chat. And yes, I know for some people that is an annoyance, but it's a new IP from the best developers in the video game industry right now. So do yourself a favor and buy it. You'll have fun. And really, at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters when you buy video games is to have fun. So now that we've talked about that, and once again, as I said, you can leave questions using the Q&A app in Google+. I guess it's time to talk about the next segment, which is Daredevil. We're going to pick up where we left off, which was episode 8. Yes, episode 8 of Daredevil, which, just to give you a brief, last time we left off on Stick, which basically just talked about how for all intents and purposes, like Stick is kind of like the it's kind of like a decompression episode because a lot of shit went down in Condemned, and it's like you kind of have to like they needed the decompression episode, which is pretty good by itself, which was Stick.
Yeah.
But now shit just got real in Shadows in the Glass, in which we talk about how
we did last time. We did say that this was episode 6. Actually, let's correct ourselves. This is episode 7.
No, we talked about 7. We got to 7.
No. When we're discussing about Stick, it's actually started at episode 7.
Yeah, that's what I said. We went past 6, and then we got to 7, which was the Stick episode. Or maybe we switched them. I know we covered Stick and Condemned, which are the 2 episodes that before 8. So, and we talked about those.
We kind of briefly talked about it. We briefly talked about it.
But Stick?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Stick is a it is, for lack of a better word, it's kind of like it's a decompression episode, like, because a lot of shit got built up in episode 6, which is Condemned. A lot of dark shit went down.
Oh.
So, I mean, you need that kind of the most important thing about the Stick episode is that Stick kills Black Sky. If you know anything about if you know anything about what's it called? The Marvel universe. If you know anything about the Marvel comic book universe, there's like different criminal organizations and villain organizations. You've got Magneto and the Brotherhood of Evil, aka just sometimes shortened down to the Brotherhood. You've got like AIM and which is I forget, but they're basically AIM are basically kind of like the not quite Hydra. They're a group of scientists and lackeys who basically create weapons. And AIM is ran by MODOK, who's basically a giant floating head inside of a suit that uses guns and psionic blast. And he's kind of a tough son of a bitch too, but he looks ridiculous.
Is this? Oh yes, MODOK. This is the same character that was featured in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah, he was in a lot of stuff, but I mean that's probably where most people know him from. I know him from the Iron Man comics because he's one of Iron Man's villains. But I digress. Well, there's also kind of like for characters like Daredevil and what's his name, Doctor Strange, and the Invincible Iron Fist. There's also like the Mystic villains, group of villains. So you have the Black Hand, which the Black Hand is basically like they're ninjas, but like they've also got some demonic stuff going on where like they can bind a demon into a human body, and it makes that person even insanely more powerful than they already are. And that's who Stick killed in episode 7.
You know, ironically enough, for me, who hasn't read the comics, when I first saw this Blackwater weapon, I really thought the way that Stick mentioned it, I really thought that it would be like a weapon, as in something mechanical. I almost thought that it would be mystical, but then I was like, this is more of a grounded Daredevil story. But I wouldn't be surprised if they actually put something magical in it as well, because you really got to go balls to the wall with this. But then when they opened that that container, and I just saw a little boy, and I'm like, WTF? To be honest, I shouldn't have been surprised. I shouldn't be surprised, but that actually caught me off guard. But Red Fox, what would you why would they actually use a child to be a weapon? I mean, was that actually in one of the Daredevil comics, or is this something new?
Um, no, the Black Hand has been in other comics.
Yeah.
If you ever saw any of the old school Iron Man, Spider-Man comics, where like Spider-Man would have a crossover with Doctor Strange or any of that, you could see like the Black Hand, because basically the Black Hand is not only ninjas, but they also have like this mystic, like magic stuff going on, and that's Doctor Strange's wheelhouse. Like, let me put it this way:
Uh-huh.
if aliens from outer space are trying to kill, or trying to destroy the Earth, you call Iron Man.
Yep.
Okay. If demons from, if the devil himself, Marvel's version of the devil, is trying to, um,
Bring about death and
enter
destruction.
enter into our world, you call Doctor Strange. If you have ninjas who have managed to bind within themselves demonic forces to make themselves even more powerful and stronger than they have ever been before, you call Iron Fist and Daredevil, because that's their, like, they can deal with that type of shit. that's what they're good at.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So
Now there's also yeah, this in this episode, this didn't hit me until I saw Razor Fist Daredevil clip that he made, that he reviewed this, and I was reminded. I can't believe why this kind of got out of my mind, but Razor Fist said that there was a reason why Stick left Matthew Murdock, because Matthew was as a young boy, he was always on with the whole revenge thing, or avenge his father's death, and that was the reason why Stick left. But in this particular show, they kind of scoffed on that and never brought up the vengeance thing or the whole killing part, because it seems like because Matthew was already against the whole killing thing. But when Razor Fist mentioned that, oh, in this show, the reason why Stick left is because Matthew was getting more emotionally attached to Stick, and that's why Stick left. But when Razor Fist mentioned about the whole vengeance and killing thing, I am guessing the reason why. And actually, this took me a while to ponder on this, but I guess the reason why they didn't want to have this whole vengeance or thing in here, because it's been pretty much done to death. That was the only reason why they kind of scoff that and have this whole emotionally attached thing going. What do you think, Red?
Um, well, I didn't like that they made that change, because in the comics, the reason Stick leaves is because the Daredevil goes after the guy who set up that fight where his father was supposed to lose, but instead he won, and then he died. He was killed after he won the fight. His name's like the Ringmaster, the Fixer, or something like that. And basically, while he was chasing the the Fixer, he went into a brothel that the Fixer had his headquarters in, and he like Daredevil, like as a kid, he beats the shit out of these. He's trying to get to the Fixer, and he kicks this woman out of a window, and she falls to her death. Now the woman, I mean, yeah, she was employed at a brothel, but
Yeah.
she didn't deserve to die because he was on a kick for revenge. The reason Stick leaves in the comics is because, like, he's so blinded by vengeance that he is willing to kill innocents or people who have nothing to do with his vengeance in order to accomplish it. That's why Stick leaves, and that's actually a story that should have been told. They turned Stick into kind of like this Like, well, I left because he was emotionally attached. No, that's not a good reason to leave. If you know anything about the Daredevil comics, any woman that he goes with dies horrifically afterwards. So maybe Stick is right. Maybe you shouldn't be going with all these women, Daredevil.
And you know, they kind of bring that essence from the comic in this series that Stick basically told Matt to cut your losses, leave your life behind, friends, family, all of that, so no one gets hurt. But I agree, Red. They should have. I wish. I wish they did cap with the original story, in the comic itself. But you know, maybe they could. Um, um, put that story in season 2. Who knows?
No, they've already crossed that bridge. They can't. Once you change an origin, it's
No, no,
kind of
no.
like Man of Steel. Once you change the origin to that point, it's like you can't go back. You know, you can't be like, "Hey guys, we fucked up. Let's go back." We can't. You can't go back from that fuck up. So, although it's a minor, it's in the grand scheme of things, it's a minor thing because other than that, they still have the character of Daredevil down pat.
Yeah, but what's really got me interesting in this is right before, or yeah, right before Stick leaves Matt, they just had a brutal fight.
Well, he had to. I mean, like, here's the thing. The whole and this is why I say they saved it. Daredevil doesn't want to kill innocents. Matt Murdock doesn't want to kill innocents, and yet Stick. I mean, Matt Murdock doesn't know the full circumstance of what's going on, but to him, that was an innocent,
Yeah.
and Stick just killed him, shot him with a bow and arrow. Which, I mean, how badass a blind dude shoots a kid with a bow and arrow? I mean, that is pretty
And
damn.
then another blind man ricochet that arrow.
I mean, I don't care what anyone says. That's pretty damn badass. But that's
Oh
just me.
yeah.
That's just
Oh,
my personal opinion.
actually, how this episode started with a Japanese dude running down the stairs, go to his office, or a room, something like that, picked up a gun, run back outside, out to the corridor, stands right in front of the elevator with a semi-automatic, pointing at the elevator door, waiting for it to be open, and then as it finally opens, he just fire a barrage of shots in there, and only for Stick to come right around the corner and basically slashed his hand off in one.
What can I say, man? Stick's not a man to be effed with. But
Oh, and also the part that he said, spare the Japanese says, spare me, I have wife and kids, and Stick was like, all right, but you're a disgrace to the family, and just cut off his head.
anyway, now that we've talked about that, let's move on to the next episode because I mean, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still have 6 episodes to go. So, Shadows in the Glass. We kind of saw Daredevil's background, like how he grew up. Now we see how Wilson Fisk grew up, and oh shit!
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Real.
Go on.
Shit got real. That's all I can say. Shit got real. We find out why he's always looking at that painting. Why he's like, it makes me feel lonely.
Yeah.
Like, we find out all that stuff, and the one thing I figured out is that, man, this guy is insane.
No, no, no. You should say it more. This person is effed up.
Yeah, he's effed up
I
all
mean,
right.
yeah. I mean, so the way how this started, he just waked up from a nightmare, just doing his morning routine. That was morning, yes, morning routines. And when he finally suit up and looking at in the mirror and looking at his reflection, I'm sorry, that that scared me a little. that was like, what the hell am I seeing?
Well, I mean, we find out why. We find out why he is the way he is, why he wears the stuff he wears. We also find out that Wilson Fisk has always been prone to these rages, even as a little kid.
Good, yes.
And
But
he
you
beats
know
his
what?
father to death with the claw part of a boltine hammer. Well, it wasn't a boltine. It was a standard hammer. When he did the claw portion of the hammer, he hit him in the back of the head with it. Holy shit. Wilson Fisk, even back then, was not a man. He's not a boy to be fucked with. And
But then,
his father
but you
fucked
know
up.
what? Yeah, it kind of brings up the old saying. Oh crap! How was it? How does it go again? Oh yeah. Uh, you create a monster creates a monster.
You could say that.
So,
Or not. I don't know. But anyway,
but
so
that no, but it's his father is really
an asshole.
he's really yeah, he's a douche.
He's an asshole, yeah. Yeah, his father, I mean, I'm not saying the dude deserved to get a claw hammer to the back of his head, but I
Oh
mean,
no, no.
damn. I mean, he was
but,
an asshole.
but
I mean,
but in
basically,
a
okay.
way, he was looking for it.
No, but it
But
makes
he was asking
okay.
for it.
You see his father go up to some neighborhood kid who beat his son, and he beats the shit out of that kid. He doesn't kill him, but he beats the shit out of him.
Kick him while he's down. Kick him. Kick him.
Then, like Wilson Fisk kills his father. His mom panics, pulls it together. So we have to dispose of the body. They cut the body up and throw it in the river. So basically, you have a father who is a bully,
Right.
and you have a mother who can casually figure out a way to dispose of a body. So it's, I mean, there's no surprise. It's amazing that Wilson Fisk has gone as far as he has. You get what I'm saying? Like, these two people came together to give us one of the most nuanced and badass Marvel villains, or at least the makings of one of the most nuanced and badass Marvel villains ever, which is pretty damn cool. The downside is that we also see Kingpin lose his shit in this episode. We see Fisk lose his shit because he gets scolded by Madame Gao in his own apartment. And like we discover that like he not only like Wilson Fisk speaks Chinese, Japanese, numerous other languages. Madame Gao apparently speaks all of them.
All of them. And I
Yeah,
was
like, how many languages? All of them. Oh shit. And he tells Wesley to get out of here because shit is about to get real. Madame Gao tells him that he's getting emotional. He's getting sloppy. He's getting like, she was like, how do you think I was able to find you here in your ivory tower? Because you're getting emotional and sloppy. And, you know, basically, like, the Kingpin, his home is his place of safety. It's where he can basically kind of unwind a little bit. And she really followed him home literally, and he loses his shit. He flips the table over. And here's the thing, that was a steel table, steel and stone. You know, he flipped that shit like it was paper. Like, motherfucker. I was like, shit.
You know what? I kind of like Madame Gao in this one because she basically told Fisk about get your stuff together or someone will do it for you.
Yeah, get your shit together, or you know I'm gonna have to personally. Basically, she pulled a Kingpin on Kingpin. Okay, basically, like, because here's the thing about the Kingpin. Like, you would rather have him send one of his lackeys after you than for him to have to personally deal with you. Because if he has to personally, it's like, if he has to clean up your mess, you're not going to like how he does it. You're not going to like it one bit. But of course, you'll be dead, so no one's going to give a shit what you like or dislike at that point. But I digress.
Yeah. Actually, I want to talk about Fisk's parents. It's like Fisk got the brute force of his father and the cold and calculated of his mother.
Basically.
Yeah. So now I would like to go on a third aspect of this episode, which is the two detectives.
Oh my! Two dirty cops.
The two dirty cops. Okay, I said it nicely. Yeah, they're dirty. But I was like, oh my gosh, this is the freaking moment about having. And you know what's astounding that I found out the fact that these two cops are best friends, even in their diapers. So they are freaking close. And to have Fisk tell one of them that he needs to kill his best friend, I'm like, okay. I was waiting to see if he's gonna be the better man, get himself killed.
I can't believe you said that with a straight face. He could be the better man. Look, let me tell you something, okay? When you make a deal with the devil and the Kingpin, you're basically making a deal with the devil. You take his money, and here's the thing: even if you don't make a deal with him, he'll send someone to take care of you. Look at the dude in the bowling alley. He wasn't going to deal with this. He's like, no, I don't. Your boss doesn't have any respect for the old ways, and they sent a dude to kill him. And the dude knew the dude was an assassin. He's like, yeah, come on, then. I got something for you, and he still got killed. So basically, Kingpin is like a force of nature. It's like dealing with, like, it's kind of like the Kingpin is a monster. Okay, it's kind of like it's how monsters are cinematically supposed to be. Like, you watch a Godzilla movie back in the day. Yeah. Like, Godzilla isn't this thinking creature. It's not a disaster movie. The thing that's frightening about a monster is that no matter what you do,
he always comes back.
No, you're fucked. No matter what you do, you're fucked. Like, there's nothing you can do. And sometimes solving the problem is worse than just letting the monster run rampant.
But here's okay. Maybe I'm freaking hopeful. Yes, naive of my character, but I really thought that he would rather commit suicide than go through this whole thing. And even in the back of my head, I was like, he's not going to do this thing. He is going to begrudgingly kill his best friend. But the thing is, what was even a cherry on top, actually more than just cherry on top, is that he's my best friend. I've been with him like 30 years. And then Mr. Fisk came in. How many of those years? How many of those years are you cost? How much does it cost for those years to do what you need to do? And I mean, when Fisk said that, and I saw the man's face, he was like sitting on the toilet, trying to go, but he really can't go because
the guy looks constipated. I know what you're saying.
Exactly.
My point about it is this: no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you can be gotten to. Okay, this detective was in a hospital, surrounded by cops, surrounded by doctors, nurses, hospital staff. He still got taken care of. That is a dangerous man. That is a dangerous man. And that's all Wilson Fisk. But I want to I want to keep this rolling because I don't want to make this an extra long podcast. Which leads into the next little bit of at the end of this episode, like in Shadows in the Glass. Before I move on, the entire episode feels like they're gonna expose Fisk, and they're gonna show him. They're gonna expose Fisk. They're gonna get him, and then his girlfriend Vanessa comes, and apparently, what she's got is so good, it spins his head around, turns it right round. And he basically says, "Fuck that! I'm gonna do this on my terms." And he exposes himself. He puts a good spin on it. He's like, "I will rebuild Hell's Kitchen." And basically, now he's untouchable because he's got politicians, the police, the fire department, and he's turned everyone against Daredevil in the process. It is brilliant. How good they flip this episode on its head. You're like, damn, how do they come back from that? Which leads...
They can come back from that, but then they have to work even freaking harder for that to happen. And what comes with consequences and a price.
But anyway... Next, we move on to the next episode, which is Speak of the Devil. In this one, we find out that Fisk has basically, he's had his hand in many, many stews in Hell's Kitchen. He's been basically masterminding people getting run out of their houses, while at the same time having control of the construction firms that get the contracts to build new things. He's basically controlling every single aspect of what's going on in Hell's Kitchen, from both the legitimate to the illegitimate. He has total control over what's going on in Hell's Kitchen. It's pretty damn frightening. So,
I kind of wanted to talk about the whole when Matt visits the... Oh crap! Visits the Catholic Church, and how they put how they give the concept of wait a minute. Have they spoken about this in this episode? Wait.
Episode 9.
Yeah.
Speak of the Devil.
Yeah.
You mean how he talks about what the devil used to mean in ancient Hebrew, which wasn't like this ultimate evil, but the tester or the adversary is what you had to overcome in order to become a better person?
Yes. I love when they put the concept on that one.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, it was, for me, that felt like a lot of exposition. They wrote, it was good writing, but it felt too comic booky, I guess. It felt too comic booky for me.
Oh, come on. Wait. This is coming from you who actually read.
Let me put it this way. I'm gonna tell you how it felt to me. I'm gonna tell you how it felt to me. Okay, if this was an animated series, this would be the portion. This felt like Batman the animated series, where Bruce Wayne meets like an old friend of his parents, and they like have the talk, like he's about to throw in being Batman. He has the talk where they're like, Batman did good things for this city, and like they aren't like, they're speaking to him as Bruce Wayne, but in his mind he's like hearing the good shit he's done, and then he turns it back around. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay Batman. I'm gonna defeat the bad guys. Like, that's what it felt like. It felt, and like, here's the thing, I'm glad it was in there, but I'm not like, oh my god, this was so profound. I'm like, every other comic book has done this. Batman. No, remember the Batman Begins, where his childhood sweetheart's like, well, it's not what a man does. It's not what a man wears. It's what he does, or some shit like that. It's not what you do, some shit like that. And then, like at the end, he's all like, it's not what what a man wears, it's what you do. It's what he does. I tried my best to do it in the Christian Bale Batman voice. If someone was here to punch me in the throat 3-4 times, make me gargle with rocks, I could maybe reach it. But my point is that it just, I mean,
But actually, to be honest, for me, it was actually the essence of the comic book. I would say if something like that was not in this, I would actually flip my dung.
now see, that's where we're gonna have to disagree, because I didn't really think it was all that special. I mean, like, it felt like, here's the thing. There's certain comic book tropes that are just, they've been done so much that at this point it gets kind of old. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure if it's actually the exact same thing.
Well, I'll give you an example. Okay, like, we have seen the villain who, like, it's always some guy who looks really, really respectable on the outside is actually the mastermind. It's been done so often that it feels cliche. We've seen where, like, the right hand man to the villain actually has some type of deep connection with the hero, like he's their brother or their father, or in some cases their mother. It feels so cliche. It's been done so much. It's like, I wanted to get to what the essence of the story was, which the essence of Speak of the Devil is that Daredevil is still floundering around. Like, it's like this entire episode felt like Daredevil is trying to get, like, he realized he's going to have to take on Wilson Fisk. He's going to have to take on the Kingpin. And when he thinks he's going to do it, he's like, man, he gets the information. He's going to be at this warehouse from the black guy. No, not the black guy, some other guy. So he's going to be at this warehouse. When he gets there, he gets in a fight with a friggin' ninja. A black hand ninja, but a ninja nonetheless. And here's the thing. Look, Daredevil won that fight, but man, did he get his ass kicked before that fight ended. I mean, he got fucked up.
Oh.
I mean, he got beat like he stole something. Daredevil got beat like he talked about somebody's mama.
True that.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, it was bad enough he was getting, like, taking kicks to the face and getting punched and stuff. But then this dude pulls out a kunai with chain. I'm like, a kunai? Who the hell carries around a kunai with chain? Hoo-yah! And Daredevil tried to catch it. He's like, It's like, motherfucker, don't try and catch a kunai with chain. It's a knife on a chain. He got slashed. He's like, ah!
Well, I guess it's a certain samurai who's really devoted in the arts.
He's like, I'm gonna catch this knife.
No,
I'm like, dude. But here's the problem with Daredevil. Up until this point, Daredevil has not fought a really skilled opponent. He hasn't.
Yes.
He's been fighting like fighting like a street brawler, and the man. I mean, I know this series is supposed to be like the Batman Year One of Daredevil, like the origin of Daredevil. So, like, he's not gonna be like this ultra suave, I know all these martial arts. I've developed my own martial art that incorporates my skills and abilities yet. But I mean, damn, did he get fucked up in that fight? And then to have Wilson Fisk after that fight, dude's bleeding. He's all jacked up. Wilson Fisk walks in like, come on, bitch.
You know what? I gotta say, the whole fight between Matt and Nobu.
Yeah.
My mother and sister couldn't even watch that fight. It was, it was that gut wrenching.
It was gut wrenching. He took that kunai chain in the stomach, and it had a hook on it, and he like Nobu caught it and then pulled it, and Daredevil was like, "Fuck!" I mean, I was like, God damn, dude, you need to learn how to fight better. Spider-Man wouldn't have gone down like that. Spider-Man would have been like, oh, that chain's moving really slow. Here's some web in your face. Web in your face, bitches. But then
he's not a human being,
but then to add insult to injury, Wilson Fisk comes out with 3 of his henchmen, and he's like, okay, and then he gets beat down by the Kingpin. I mean, that's just bad. Like, you got your ass kicked by a ninja, then this big, huge, gargantuan-looking motherfucker smacks you around some more. Man, that was not a good night for King. And then, Daredevil, like, Matt Murdock's like, shit, I got to make a command decision. I can try and fight this guy and his gunman, or I can jump out of this window. I know I'm on the 3rd floor, but fuck it. I'm going to have to jump out.
Retreat and regroup.
He's like, I'm going to have to jump out this window. And he did. And that was, I mean, here's the thing. As a Kingpin fan, I like seeing the Kingpin beat up people. When, if you go to Google and you say Kingpin versus the Punisher and watch the comic book images, oh, it's glorious. Because I don't even like Frank Castle. I mean, he's just a guy with a whole bunch of guns. But man, did he get fucked up by the Kingpin.
F you, Red Fox. F you, Red Fox.
He got beat down like he talked about the Kingpin's mama. It was ridiculous. I was like, damn.
I kind of before the whole fight scene, I kind of like the whole dynamic between Matt and Nobu about respect. Like, Nobu was actually giving Matt respect, but Matt was like, "I ain't giving you SWAT, and you better earn it."
Anyway, it was an awesome fight, and it was fun seeing. It was fun seeing whenever Kingpin beats the hell out of somebody, it's gonna be a good night. But this wasn't even a fun fight because Daredevil was already on the edge, and smacking around an injured person is not like what I would call very sporting. And the Kingpin, despite all of his many issues, he'll give you a chance to fight. Now, of course, he's going to kick your ass like the Russian, but I mean, you might lose your head. But pun intended.
In this episode, now that I remembered, this episode actually drove me in tears. Just because.
Because the way that dude got his ass kicked, that was some serious shit right there.
Well, actually, I was already in tears after that, and that just drive my tears even more. But what started my tears is that the old Spanish lady.
Yeah, they shouldn't have killed that lady.
I thought there was rage building inside me that I thought I never had. Was rage and sadness. I was like, I really couldn't stop crying, man. I mean, literally. And then it gotten worse just seeing the fight, the fight with Matt and that ninja, which he was just
that ass whooping he took.
Some whooping.
Let me put it this way: if you're ever in a fight, like I know people like, well, Nobu died in the end. Yeah, he did die. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if Nobu came back, Daredevil would be hesitant to fight him again. What? Because if you're gonna get in a fight, even if you don't win, you want to make that motherfucker think, I'm never going to want to fight that person again.
But now, if you're going to be forced to fight that person again, after that second time, you better train yourself like a mother father.
I'm just saying, look.
Even that wouldn't help.
It's kind of like the Kingpin. Everyone who has ever physically fought the Kingpin, win or lose, well, except for the Gray Hulk, because I mean it's the Gray Hulk. But Spider-Man, Daredevil, Punisher, they ain't bullying for a second time at bat. No shit. I'll bring him down in the courts. That's Matt Murdock. I'll get him in with the law. It's like, I ain't getting my ass kicked like that again. No. But I digress. It's time to move on to the next episode, which is
Yeah,
right. At the very end of Speak of the Devil, Matt jumps out the window, as we said, and winds up going to the only place he can go to get healed up. Foggy's house.
His home.
Yeah.
No. Actually, it's Matt's apartment. Foggy just went.
Well, Foggy was there. Foggy was
by
there.
ironic chance, yes, Foggy was visiting Matt's apartment when Matt was coming back.
Luckily, Foggy was there. Foggy healed him up, which leads to the next episode.
Wasn't Foggy. It was the nurse.
No, Foggy actually goes and heals him up. Night Nurse. Yeah, I don't think Night Nurse was in because Foggy does basic first aid for him.
Yeah, basic, but Matt needs more than just basic. And Foggy was willing to take Matt to the hospital, but if it wasn't for the nurse, which
the night nurse,
which she basically almost beat Foggy to not get Matt to the hospital.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Daredevil can enter a meditative state where he can heal himself. He can heal himself at an accelerated rate. It's nowhere near Hulk or Power Man, aka Luke Cage, or Spider-Man doesn't really heal fast. He just is tougher than the average. Like, if you break Peter Parker's ribs, it's going to take him about 6 weeks to heal from it, like a normal 6 to 8 weeks to heal from it. But it's just really hard to break his ribs. On the other hand, if you break the Hulk's ribs, he'll be healed of it within like 2-3 minutes.
Seconds.
Well, no, 2 or 3 minutes. If he's like, if Banner has his ribs broken, the transformation will heal his ribs. If you break the Hulk's ribs, it'll be healed within 2 or 3 minutes, depending on if he first transformed. If he's really pissed off, I've seen the Hulk get flayed, like all of his skin get burnt off, and he came back from that within seconds. So
yeah.
His healing, the Hulk's healing factor shits on everyone else's healing factor. But
even Logan.
We're not gonna shit. Don't get me started on that hack. But anyway, as I was saying, this episode is a filler episode where Foggy thinks about, he's like, Matt betrayed me because he's blind, but he has superpowers and he's going around, and Matt's like, well, look, the reason he tells a story about one of the first things he did. Like, there was this guy who was molesting his daughter and no one believed her, and her mother didn't believe her. Because like the way he did it, there was like no one would believe him. So he's like, I found the father and I beat the shit out of him, and I told him that if I ever heard that he was molesting his daughter again, I was gonna permanently take care of the problem. And he's like, I never heard him doing anything else to that little girl. He's like, I feel pretty damn good about it.
Of all the type of stories they could have put in there, that was pretty twisted, sick.
Well, I mean,
I like it.
Like, here's the thing. It's kind of like when people say, "Well, Superman Superman doesn't kill." The original Superman beat the shit out of spousal abusers, broke the neck of child molesters. Like, he was not like horrifically like burnt people alive or started a fire that burnt Nazis alive, and he really didn't give a shit. Like, the original Superman was not this, not the gold and silver age Superman. So, I mean, obviously other characters will have those types of issues.
And actually, I didn't mind. You know what? I promised myself I wouldn't bring Man of Steel whenever you're around, so I'm going to step aside with this. But yeah, I digress. But Yeah, the whole beating up that molester, man, that was crude. Hilly was bleeding. You can even barely see his face. It was all in blood. That was rage, my friend. Just like in the first episode. Actually, no. This one is much worse than the first episode.
Well, man, it's this episode was a downer. I mean, it was good that we got to see the more domestic side of, like the thing that they don't tell you about being a superhero. Sometimes you're going to get your ass kicked. You got to have some place where you can recoup. Not every, the Avengers is the glamorous portion of being a superhero. Daredevil is the trash can at the end of the street that's been overflowing for like 3 weeks. The trash workers are on strike and it stinks.
You know what?
That is Daredevil.
Same thing that Claire said. You're not the superhero rich type, so are you? No, I actually have a job. I was like, shoot, didn't strike lucky.
Yeah. Which basically leads to the interesting thing about this episode is that we also find out that Karen and Ben Urich, who's trying to find a nursing home for his wife, who apparently has some type of wasting illness. We never know exactly what it is, but shit ain't looking good for Ben Urich. They wind up going up to upstate New York to a nursing home where Wilson Fisk's mother is, and they discover some pretty horrific things. Meanwhile, Vanessa and quite a few other people at Fisk's coming out party, for lack of a better term, collapse from poisoned champagne because apparently you have to kill someone with something that can be easily traced back to someone else because that's you're a super criminal, but you can't think of something better than that. Whatever. Oh
crap. Sorry, Red. Having technical issues on my side, but yeah. This was one of the instances that actually really bothered me. When they found out about the mother, I'm like, woman, couldn't you think that they probably, when you found out about her, that they could have had someone watching Fisk's mother at that nursing home, and then on top of that, to bring Urich there as well? I was like, I was really on Ben's side, saying, "What? You couldn't have called me when you found out about this?"
They had to do it.
Oh no, she had to do it.
No, they had to. In order to move the story along, they had to discover more about Fisk. They had to do it. Unfortunately, Ben had to die. Well, we haven't gotten to that yet. Ben had to do something incredibly stupid in order to move the story along. Sad for him, but Ben was the catalyst for everything else coming together. So Ben was the catalyst. Ben's death is what brings everything together, which leads me to the next episode, which is The Path of the Righteous. The Path of the Righteous.
Before we reach this episode, I just wanted to speak about how they showed the college years of Matt. Oh crap! I can't believe I've forgotten his name.
Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson.
Yes, Foggy, with the whole avocado.
No, it was because in Spanish, Castilian Spanish, the word for lawyer is abogado. Los abogados.
Yes.
Abogados, in which in Mexican, in Aztecan, which is where we get the name, which is they didn't know how to say avocado, in the Toltecan language. However, the word for avocado in the Toltecan language doesn't mean avocado. It means what avocados look kind of sort of like, testicles. Which actually fits very well with a lawyer, because you got to have balls to be an ambulance chaser or any type of good lawyer. So it kind of fits.
Fits, yeah.
Abogados. But I digress. It's time to move on to the next episode, which is The Path of the Righteous. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by tyranny. Or I just murdered that Samuel L. Jackson quote. But basically, this episode is basically about this episode is basically about Matt discovering some stuff, and he learns about that Fisk has bulletproof armor that he wears all the time, and that it's made by a guy who basically he winds up going to the warehouse where this guy lives and is there. And he discovers that this guy is not only mentally unbalanced, but Fisk is holding his own family hostage.
Hostage, yes.
So, like, the guy's like, well, I'll put him away, but I'm going to need you to make me a suit of armor. I'm going to need you to make me a suit of armor with the same stuff. And the guy's like, I'm going to hook you up because I'm tired of this fat fucker myself. He doesn't say that, but, I mean, that's basically how the conversation goes down.
Yeah. You know, when DareDevil first got approached by this character, when after these words, you shouldn't be here. Wait a minute. I was like, is this person
unhinged?
I'm like, I could say get another word, and it's actually offensive. But I was like, yeah.
No, he was unhinged. I mean, like, here's the thing, okay? He's got mental issues, and then you add on to the fact that he's got the Kingpin is holding his family hostage.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's some shit going down. But that's aside from the point. The guy realizes that the Daredevil is not out to do anything horrific, and he's like, he sees a way to escape by helping this guy to beat the Kingpin. And how is he going to help him? He's going to make him a suit. He's going to make him his suit. Now, when he said he was going to make him his suit, I was like, this is where he's going to get his classical Daredevil suit from. Cool. I like that. Or at least the red suit that we've come to know and love.
I'm sorry, Red, you broke up with me.
Broke up? I never went with you in the first place. No, I'm joking. This is where he got his suit from, which is really cool. And when the guy talks about it, like this material that's bulletproof and ultra durable, but also supple, I was like, okay, then cool. This is gonna work out. So, in this episode,
I kind of like the fact that when Daredevil said, "Could you make it in red?"
yeah, he does. Can you make it in red?
It was actually an homage to his father, that he had the that red cloth with the hoodie when he was boxing.
Kind of, but I'm not gonna go that in depth in details about it. Basically, the cool thing about this is that Fisk he's gonna get his suit, and we know it's gonna be the classical suit. But meanwhile, Vanessa is recovering in the hospital from her.
Don't say classical. Say iconic. The classic is the black.
Well, the classic suit was the yellow one, actually. Actually,
Oh,
I would have applauded them if they had gone with the classical yellow suit. I'm like, man, you guys got balls. But look, no matter how edgy this show is, they couldn't go that balls to the wall with it, which kind of sucks. And before we go any further, we do have the question app is open. You guys can ask questions if you want to. While we continue further to get to the 13th episode of Daredevil and get through the end of this. But right now we're on 11, talking about how awesome the 11th episode was. Because in this episode, we find, this is one of those episodes where things begin to come together. Okay? Things begin to come together. Daredevil is about to get is having his suit made. Karen and Ben Urich discover that Wilson Fisk killed his father, and his mother helped him get rid of the body. That his mother, despite her looking like she's kind of out of it, calls and it wasn't someone was looking out for his mother. Is that she calls and tells him that people came and were asking questions about him, and that's when the shit hits the fan, because Wesley's like, I'm gonna deal with this personally. So he goes to find Karen, and he's like,
no,
Wesley,
you gotta say it like this. Give me your weapon. No, quietly. And give me the keys. Now you stay here and watch Fisk. But wait a minute, should one of us come with you? No, stay with Fisk. I have to deal. I've got this.
Yeah, he goes to deal with this shit personally, which was a mistake on his part, because Karen is a woman who's been driven to the wall. Yeah. And she's already had someone try and kill her twice. So at this point, she Wesley is dealing with someone who's with their back against the wall and cornered. They're willing to fight. So he kidnaps her, and he's got her at this table. He's got the gun between him, and he's like, I need you to tell me everything you know about XYZ. And she's like, I ain't telling you shit. And he's like, he undoes his eye a little bit. He's like, well, I'm gonna have to make this. And she snatches the gun and she's aiming it at him. He's like, do you think I'm stupid enough to put a loaded gun between us? And she's like, well, let's find out. Blam. and that's the end of Wesley. He doesn't make it.
From that moment, I was shocked myself, because I'm like, I think
you are that stupid. I really do. I know you're rich and everything, working for the Kingpin, but this may be a dark and edgy Marvel comic, but don't you know the bad guys don't win? And everybody gets their comeuppance eventually.
Oh, they will. I'll see how it goes on, but I was stumped. I was literally shocked, with my eyes wide, my mouth, my jaw dropped to the floor. Oh my God, he goofed up. He done goofed up.
He fucked up when he put. Look. If I was Wesley, I would have started to get my affairs in order so that I could disappear and abandon Fisk, because clearly things are going too smoothly for Fisk. Things are going too smoothly.
Oh no, Wesley is the kind of person. He is really deeply attached to Wilson Fisk.
Yeah,
and he would do anything, and I mean just about anything, to keep wraps about Fisk.
Yeah, he is too deeply attached to Wilson Fisk, and that is what got his ass killed. So basically, Wesley dies, or actually, he doesn't die. Wesley got shot. He got shot. He didn't die. He got shot. He got shot to death.
He got shot. Looked at himself like, "What? Did that woman shoot me?
Did I actually get shot? Yes, you did, Wesley. You did get shot, dude. It's sad. I know. It's horrific. Which leads us to, at the end, Wesley got shot. It's so sad that sick fuck got shot. But which leads us to, I guess the next episode, The Ones We Leave Behind, aka Daredevil Strikes Back.
Hold on. Before we leave this episode, I just want to say that when the group finally reached to the hospital to get Vanessa treated, there was one where Fisk was like, no, I need to be with her at all times. The nurse was like, yo, you can't. I'm like, this nurse might die right there. Then Fisk was like, do you know who I am? And then the nurse didn't care diddly squat. She just hand over Fisk and tell him, hey, sit down, wait, or we're trying to do everything we can, and you will be a distraction to us. So sit down. And I was like, this nurse got freaking balls.
No, the nurse, actually, she didn't, because the nurse is a strong woman, and Kingpin responds well to strong women. His mother,
Yeah.
strong woman. Madame Gao, strong woman. Vanessa, strong
Yeah.
woman. Strong women have, I mean, relatively nothing to fear from Kingpin. Now, if you are a weak, simpering little punk,
But like Karen Page?
no, like Leland, you're not gonna do too well.
Oh.
But we haven't gotten to Leland yet. So
Yeah, yes.
we need to get to the ones that we leave behind, or AKA Daredevil Strikes Back. Daredevil's healed himself up. He's gotten his mojo back a little bit, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go after the Kingpin's strongest. The Russians have gone down. The Yakuza have gone down. There's only Leland, who's underground, because remember earlier on, Daredevil went after Leland, and Leland tasered him because Daredevil got owned by the accountant, and Madame Gao, who's the triad, and she's like the strongest. She's like his strongest ally, really. She's the Kingpin's strongest ally. So basically, he goes after her operation, which is drug smuggling, and she has nothing but blind people running her smuggling outfit, which is kind of there's a kind of symmetry that her drug smuggling outfit was taken out by a blind guy. That's kind of poetic justice, but I digress. So Daredevil goes and he basically attacks her warehouse, and then it gets blown the fuck up. Literally, he blows it up.
But you know, it's kind of ironic that it seems like the same kind of toxic chemical that Dead got blinded. It seems like Matthew is also blinded by that same chemical.
I'll tell you something funny about Daredevil in a little bit. That's gonna make you just lose your damn mind. But I'm not gonna. You're gonna be shocked, okay, once you hear this. So basically, shit gets real. You know, he blows up Madame Gao's operations. She leaves, and like everyone, he's like, I ran her out of town. You didn't run. Look, you want to know what? You want to know what scared the hell out of her? She realizes that Wilson Fisk. If Wilson Fisk finds out that she and Leyland are the ones who poisoned Vanessa,
she's dead.
That's why she left. Vladimir, he just got embarrassed.
But you know, here's the thing. What surprised me the most. Bear in mind, have not read any Daredevil comics. But when Daredevil faced Madame Gao, I know this lady must have something up his sleeve. I mean, she's like the ringleader of this whole
a triad.
Yeah, the Chinese triads, and I'm like, yes, this woman has something up her sleeve. Now, after Daredevil took out her bodyguards, then when he confronted her, I was like, this has to be a fight, or this lady might defend herself. And oh boy, the first palm strike that she did, I was like, and basically knocked Matt down. I'm like, okay, this woman knows her kung fu.
It makes sense. She's a member of the triad. She's insanely old. The triads in the Marvel universe know kung fu, and the Yakuza know various forms of karate. They have all this mysticism. It would make sense that she would know how to kick his ass.
But
you notice after that palm strike, he got the fuck up and was just talking to her, and he let her go because he's like, if I fight this woman, she's gonna kick my ass, and I just got over one ass whooping. I ain't going for another one, you know.
Yeah, the thing is, that comes with the old of the old saying, our parents can be quite deceiving. I mean, Madame Gao, it looks like she's kind of like 90-year-old grandma who's about to drop dead, but can still.
Well, I mean, let's be frank though. The Daredevil gets his ass kicked by a lot of people in this entire. I mean, he got tasered by Leland. He got the shit kicked out of him by like that fight with the professional assassin that Fisk hired to take care of that mob boss. That was like, yeah, he got the upper hand like halfway through the fight. He got his ass kicked by those groups of Russians earlier on where he was in the dumpster and like bleeding out. I mean, he gets his ass kicked a lot in this series. Not to mention the best ass whooping ever, which is in the next episode. Okay then. So basically, I guess Triple M is going to give his sign off, and then I'm going to finish up with these episodes and wrap it up. So go ahead, Triple M, give your sign off. Or not. Okay. I guess I'll finish it off. Basically, what happens is shit gets real. Ben Urich basically tries to print his expose on Wilson Fisk. He gets shit canned because of it. And then he goes and starts a blog, and Fisk breaks into his house and strangles him to death when he refuses to retract the article. And that was not good. Which leads to the final episode of this, which is Daredevil. This is the episode that had one of the best ass whoopings I've ever seen it was a back alley's brawl. But basically, here's what happens. Matt and Karen attend Ben Urich's funeral. Matt basically tells Karen that he's going to take down Fisk and all of his little friends. And what happens is that the shit gets real. Fisk finds out where Detective Hoffman is. He flips Detective Hoffman, and Hoffman testifies and starts telling people what's going on with Fisk. But basically what happens is that meanwhile, Fisk kills Leland because he finds out Leland and Madame Gao basically decided to take Vanessa to attempted to kill Vanessa, which was a major fuck up. And Fisk kills him after he tries to blackmail him. But by this time, things are coming down. People find out that he's killing people and all the shit that Fisk has been doing with Detective Hoffman testifying. And Fisk gets taken into custody, but he manages to escape because he's got money. And Fisk is about to make it out until Daredevil basically flips the truck on his ass. And the most epic street brawl ever commences. It's awesome. I mean, this was a street brawl. Like, you're talking Daredevil's using his billy clubs. Fisk is using a piece of iron rebar. Just awesome ass kickery all around. Ultimately, Daredevil wins. Fisk goes to jail, and everything comes full circle because Fisk is in jail looking at a white wall, much like he was at the beginning when you first saw him much like he was when he was a kid looking at this white wall. Vanessa has her wedding ring, her engagement ring. She's going to marry Fisk, flying away on a helicopter. Just, it sets up so much for season 2. And with that, we've come to the end of our podcast, which was a short one because we only went an hour and a half, roughly speaking. So now that I've talked about it, it's time to wrap things up. We were going to get to free topics, but, I mean, there's only 2 people here, not enough time to get free topics. I'll check the questions. We don't have any questions. Oh, nope, I lied. We have questions. We'll get to that. This one is from Anderson Archilla. So even though Daredevil can do what it does because it's a Netflix show, do you think they could incorporate some of the gore and grit into one of the cinematic movies? I think they could, Anderson Archilla, but it would have to be rated R. And the thing is that Marvel is trying desperately to keep it PG-13 and PG. They don't want to go R, but really some things like Batman should be rated R. It really should. Superman, PG-13, PG, but Batman should be R. Like the Hulk, in order to do the Hulk and Wolverine well, you'd have to make it be rated R. So, I mean, if they did do a Daredevil movie, it would have to be rated R in order for them to do all that. Next question. Daredevil takes place after the Avengers, right? Do you think they'll be able to make the next season take place after the Age of Ultron without teetering the line between the believable and silly? I think they could. I think they could. I think that Daredevil is meant to take, like I said, like the Avengers are the nice part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Daredevil is the dirty, gritty underside. So you need to have both in order to make a cinematic universe work. So yeah, I think they can do it. Madame Gao is no doubt something beyond a mere human. Do you think they'll introduce magic and alien elements slowly without shifting the tone? Yes, I do. I think that they already started with the Black Hand, because the Black Hand dude that they had in there was like, the Black Hand, their super ninjas are basically dudes who have demons inside of them, and that's why Stick killed that guy. I think they're hinting at they're going to take more of they're going to have more of like those types of elements in the next season. I know they're definitely going to go into that with Luke Cage and the Invincible Iron Fist. So here's hoping that they can do it, but still make it kind of believable. Anderson Archilla. Our next question and our final question is from Anderson Archilla. Do you think they'll be able to introduce the hand without taking away too much focus from the Kingpin? I think they have to take focus away from the Kingpin, because the next episode is presumably going to take place like next year, and Kingpin will probably still be in jail at that point. So they're going to have to introduce a new, well, not a new villain, but they're going to have to introduce like an intermediate villain while Kingpin comes back for his triumphant return. I think they're going to bring him back at the end of season 2. So they're going to have some other villain for Murdoch to face off against. So I think it might be the Black Hand, because they hint at it with Stick talking to Rock. So yeah. So those are all the questions answered. And with that being said, I'm going to give my sign off, tell you what's coming up next week. And then we'll let you guys go. So what's coming up over the next few days, few weeks, whatever? We are doing next week, BS Busters returns. I will be doing, we'll be talking about the ridiculous double standards in the video game industry, how we're willing to accept some things, but other things we're not. We'll also talk about how to, what are the standards of gaming? It's a relatively deep concept and it needs to be gone over. We'll also that will also be a question-a-thon episode, so that'll be the main topic, and then we'll just have questions. So if you guys have any questions you want to do, leave them in the comment section, or you can ask them with the Q&A app on that episode when it comes up. I'll be making it sometime today and sharing it, so you can look forward to that. And without that, all right, it's time to do our wrap up. Triple M.
Audience of this podcast, I am very sorry that something that's come up in my personal life that I just had to be away for a while. So apologies for the inconvenience, but that's life. I just hope it doesn't happen frequently or ever again. But hey, it's not in my hands. But anyway, this has been Triple M, the lone wolf and fondness for games that pops out of my artworks, and well, like in Marvel's Daredevil and Netflix. Preemptive apology for my language, but shit happens.
It's okay, dude. We all understand that shit happens, and then you got to get used to it. All right, I guess that's your outro. Guess I'll give my outro. I didn't give an intro because I just wanted to jump into it because Splatoon was on my mind, and it's calling to me right now. It's calling to me. So with all that being said, I just want to say this. I don't care about your Call of Duty. I'm gonna be playing Splatoon because I'm crazy like a fox. And with that, I bid you guys a good night. Stay tuned next week for BS Buster's Triumphant Return. We will be talking about standards in gaming and the ridiculous double standards that we have in gaming about certain games, gaming companies, things we like, things we dislike, and how to kind of combat that particular mode. It will also be a question-a-thon, so please leave your questions so we can answer them throughout the podcast so that we can interact with our public who watches this. And with all that being said, I bid you guys a good night.
Adieu.